Hey, you guys, you don't want to miss this next video. Check out how Charles Payne wipes the floor with Jessica Tarlov during this live TV brawl. Go have a look.
Listen, I think it's worse with Biden calling MAGA. Biden's anger and vitriol and hatred for MAGA is far more worse than President Trump's individual battles with someone who crosses him. That is something that is really detrimental to this country, that the President of the United States despises half of the United States. President Biden, I said earlier today, about a week ago, I had a segment coming up, so I Googled Biden hates MAGA. Nothing but articles after articles after articles. He has expressed hatred for half of the country.
Those articles?
It doesn't matter.
And it's not.
Because the bottom line is he says it. He has vitriol for them. And so does MSNBC, and so does CNN, and so does the New York Times. They have vitriol for half of the nation. They don't look at them like fellow Americans, and it's unfortunate. They try to paint them as racist. That all the things that they do to their fellow Americans who simply want a safe home, a safe community, for the children to have prosperity. They want the same thing, but they demean them all the time. That's why I think Phillips was so intriguing, because he went to a rally to find out for himself. And guess what? Golly, these are some pretty cool people. They're just like us.
I went to a Donald Trump rally a couple nights ago. Never been to one. I had an event across the street. I saw the line of people waiting in the cold for hours. And I thought, what the heck? You know, I'm going to be a leader who actually invites people, doesn't condemn them. Met probably 50 Trump people waiting in line. Every single one of them, thoughtful, hospitable, friendly. All of them so frustrated that they feel nobody's listening to them but Donald Trump. A diverse crowd, people who had never been to a Trump event before. My party is completely delusional right now.
Say that he's demeaned half the country. First of all, it's 74 million people that voted for Donald Trump, and he is explicit every time he talks about the MAGA movement to say that this is a subsection of the Republican Party, which is borne out in elections when you see people voting against Donald Trump. And this idea that
but what about the people voting for him? What about the people voting for him? He gives teleprompter speeches. I mean, you have to understand that it's...
but he is talking about insurrectionists. Yes, he is.
No.
Why is he talking about January 6th? And he says
MAGA like it's a swear word, you know, instead of a slogan.
If you get called regularly,
he's the president of the United States.
Thugs,
he's the commander-in-chief.
Pedophiles.
Why can't he call the border a crisis while he's denigrating and castigating Americans? No, the voters are talking about that, Jessica.
But excuse me, respect demeaning voters.
The president of the United States, the commander-in-chief, went to Philadelphia a year and a half ago with a Marine posted behind him.
I saw.
And gave a decidedly political speech where he insulted a large part of the country. And I've said many times on this network, and I'll say it again tonight, if people, a lot of people, spend a fraction of the time that they spend obsessing over Donald Trump, the person, learning one thing about the Trump voter, things may be very different. This is Joe Biden's version of Hillary's deplorable and irredeemable.
You know, Charles is spot on. When Biden talks about MAGA, he says it like MAGA is a bad word. But the thing is, when Biden talks about MAGA, he actually attacks everyone, all the conservatives who support Trump, that he calls MAGA, a MAGA cult, right? And he always attacks us as conservatives for supporting Trump. So he not just goes after Trump. Charles is completely right. He goes after the people who support Trump. Now, if you listen to Trump is not only going after Biden and Harris administration, but he's going after the government of liberals and Dems and socialism. He's going after them, the people who make policies, the people who enforce policies. Those are the people you always hear in the rallies, you always hear in his interviews, who he goes after. He does not go after people who support them, all the Democrats, all the liberals. He does not go after them. So Charles is spot on. And I loved it how this guy, this reporter, was just across the street from one of Trump's rally, and he took the time to go in line and meet the people. And I'll tell you, I agree. I really feel that conservatives are so much nicer. Now, I mean that in this way. We, as Charles says, we just want kindness. We just want to live our life happily the way we want to. We don't want government behind it. And whenever you talk to a Democrat, it just seems like they just don't want to hear anything we have to say. So when this reporter stood in line and he shared with us how he actually took the time to talk to people, he also mentioned how diverse it was. He also mentioned how nice and kind everybody was. And I'm sure they all knew, and he probably shared it, that he was a Democrat reporter, right? If anything, think about it. Visualize this. You're in a line of people waiting to go in to see the person you support, and they're all liberals. And a conservative reporter comes in. Can you see it? Everyone's going to attack them because we've seen that happen all the time. Don't talk to that person. Don't talk to that person. But when you have a conservative line, the reporter's right. We're like, yeah, let's talk about it. Let's engage. That was like an amazing clip. And Jessica, seriously, just go to The View. Just go on The View. Go get hired by The View.